All right, welcome back. Yesterday we did the movement event 1 lock-in in our move type move, and the transition to move event 2. So what we did was, if it's in our control, we click on it, we pick up 5 stones, and we initiate to movement event 2. So we have 7 movement events that we're trying to code logic for. And we've got movement event 1 done. We need to go all the way through and get every single movement event organized. Then we can worry about testing it, and then we'll be done with movements, honestly, which is like the second half of the game. Well, it's more like 80% of the game. That's what it feels like. Okay. So if we look in here's all our old logic that we're converting to this movement event logic. Here we go. So for movement event 1, we decided what was a legal move, which was anything that was within our player's stack control. And once we had legal moves, actually, our legal move is also triggering our legal move highlights. So if our mouse cursor is over a legal move, it would highlight as a possible legal move. Otherwise, it wouldn't. But it wouldn't change the fact that it's legal move, it just wouldn't highlight it. And then I was just watching a CS50 game dev tutorial, and they did something like this, where instead of, since we don't need the X and Y of the mouse press, we're actually using our mouse Y grid and mouse X grid, which is why we don't need to use the variables here, because we kind of take care of that. We make our own variables that update with our mouse position. But I saw that we can just put if 1 is pressed, meaning if we actually left clicked, and then that would mean, oh no, that would mean we could kind of take out that whole maybe not, it's not, is that? Let's see. I guess let's see if it detects the mouse press. No. So look, we just need to take out this end and this. And this is mouse press 1. Is it still crashing? Still crashing. I'm going to turn off the other sounds, because it's, look how long it's taking to render the beginning, to basically load everything. So in our main state, I'm just gonna say that we don't actually load our sounds. So that'll probably save us some time every time we boot. Yeah, look how much faster that is. Okay. See, so this is actually wrong. We need to falsify all legal moves upon a click. So we've got a function for that. And that function is right here, falsify all occupants legal move. And I guess we need to do that right upon clicking at the end of our movement 1 flowchart. So movement 1, if we mouse press, then the last thing we do is falsify all legal moves. Now we should still render the highlight of our movement origin, but now that other black spot isn't rendering as legal anymore. So I think we fixed that. So this was a little bug that we didn't realize wasn't in our code once we committed, but it's okay. So let's get going on movementEvent 2. Okay. So our movementEvent 2 is just dropping stones in our movement origin. So this, upon enter pressed, we have to have dropped at least 1. And then we need to do some special thing where we also need to say swap turns if mouse occupants is equal to 0. So we can do okay. Okay. Let's work on this. So we need to be able to drop stones from our mouse stones into our movement origin. Now we do have a movement origin row and movement origin column locked. Right here. So we're gonna, here in our else if movementEvent 2, we're gonna say if down is pressed, and this will be drop stone in movement origin. Now, we don't want to just be able to drop stones. If down is pressed and our mouse stone occupants is greater than 1, we can only drop a stone if, and see, this is the one that's different. If we drop all of our stones into movement origin grid and then swap the player, it'll be as if the player didn't move. So for this one, I only allow us to drop 1 less stone than we have in our hands. So we can drop all but 1 because we have to make a movement because we locked in a movement on this stack. So I'm saying that if down is pressed and our mouse stone occupants is greater than 0, meaning we have an occupant, okay, then we would, greater than 1 would be meaning we have, if we have 2, sure, we're greater than 1, so go ahead and drop a stone. but 1 is not greater than 1, so it will not drop a stone when we have only one mouse stone. So this is pretty easy. Once again, it's like the same-ish logic, right? Where we're going to say if down is pressed, then we need to copy from our mouse stones. Now we need our this is where we have bottom stone index come in. So in our old code, we did this thing called bottom stone index, and we would increment it upon dropping so that we could index a mouse stone at one higher level. So once we drop it, we access the next one. Once we pick it up, we have to decrement our bottom stone index so that we're reading the stone beneath it. So let's take a look here. I'm looking for bottom stone index. Okay, I'm remembering we took out bottom stone index and we instead converted it to lowest mouse stone stack order. Which really just means the bottom stone index of our mouse stones. So we need to assign this to be a number equal to the stack order that is on the bottom of our mouse stone. So we don't really have a function to I'm thinking we make a I don't think we would need a function. We can kind of just do it on I don't know actually. Okay, I got an idea. I know how we can do it. We just need to assign this once we lock in how many stones are in our hand. So lowest mouse stone stack order will get assigned here in our first movement. First movement event. So here, once we press in a grid, what we're gonna do is we're going to populate this variable with we need to it's like we need to cycle through all the occupants. No, I mean all the members of our mouse stones, and as soon as one isn't nil, we need to take that stack order and copy it into this variable. So we'll put for I gets 1, 10 because there's 10 members in every occupant. Well, actually, yeah, that's right. We're going to do something 10 times, and if the mouse stone dot members at index I, the ith member, if its value of stack order does not equal nil, Yeah, if it does not equal nil, that means if it has a stack order, it'll give us, we'll assign our lowest milestone stack order to be that lowest stack order, and then we'll have to make sure we break so that we don't overwrite that. But now that we have this, we should be populating this lowest milestone stack order. So if we print this up in our debugging, like let's say right here, we put it right here. It's lowest milestone stack order. And then it's actually just a global variable called lowest milestone stack order. We could put this at our offset times 9. Okay. So let's see if our lowest milestone index is populating correctly. I don't know what this didn't like. It said syntax error and expected. We must have missed an end here. Okay. So we're trying to see, come on. Lowest milestone stack order of 6, which is correct. Because we have 5 stones in hand from a 10 stack, so it goes 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So our lowest milestone stack order, aka our bottom stone index, is now properly assigned, going into movement event 2. So now we need to do a couple more things. And okay. So yeah, we should have no legal moves during this event. We should have no legal moves. So what we're doing is we're going to be copying our mouse stones dot members at our lowest mouse stone stack order, which is our lowest stone. We're going to be copying that lowest stone's values of things like stone type. I think we normally do stone color first. Color, type, and order. So color. We're going to be copying that value into our movement origin grid, where we locked in our movement origin row, movement origin row locked, movement origin column locked. That's the value we're going to be placing our value in, and at a member's index. And the members, this needs to go, the stone needs to be placed on top of whatever's currently in there. So if there's one stone, it needs to be placed at index 2. So what we'll do, actually is, we'll have a variable called occupant index. And that gets assigned. I'm just trying to have more readable code. Instead of putting this dot occupants in here +1, instead of having this as our line of code here, I'm trying to save us a bit and say that we're going to grab how many occupants we have, save it in an index, and then we index that right here +1. So now this is just more readable. Occupant index +1, that's the member we're putting it at, which should be right. So I'm gonna initialize this so it's not garbage, and we'll put it in our reset as well. See, this is in our reset. Occupant index gets 0. Actually, we should probably do nil. Occupant index gets nil when we reset, and we probably need it here too. Just when we swap players, we probably need to swap it there too. Okay, well, we're making progress. Let's hope that's the right thing. Let's think about this. Down is pressed. Now, what we can actually do is increment our occupants right here and there. Then we don't have to do a +1 because we're incrementing our occupants in our old grid, giving us one more member. I mean, it's just it signifies one more member. It's really just an integer called occupants. So we increment our occupants. We assign a thing called occupant index, and then that's that index, which is an occupants incremented, which should be one stone on top of the current stone, is where we're going to be copying our mouse stone members. So we need to do stone color, stone type, and what else? Stack control? No. What do we do? Stack order. That's the index for the render. So stack order. It's the last thing we copy over, and we don't copy it into the members index. We have to be more specific into the appropriate members field at the appropriate index. So stone type and stack order. So this is already way more easy to read than our old code, because if you look at our old code here, this is the result of what we're assigning when we don't assign that extra variable we did for our occupants. So I think that makes it much more readable. It does introduce one more variable that could be messed up, so I don't know how I feel about it in that sense, but at least it seems to be working. Actually, we don't even know that. We haven't even ran it yet. This is just, I think that's a good idea. We increment the occupants, we store that value in an occupant index, and that's the stone on top, basically, of our movement origin. So what we have to do once we copy all our stones over is we need to nullify our stones in our member. So every stone here, we need to nullify. And then what we need to do is we need to nullify the stone color, the stone type, and the stack order. Yeah, and we also need to, since we drop a stone, we need to be able to index one stone lower in our mouse stone. No. Okay, so this is where we need to say our we basically need to, what we had in our code last was a dropped-in movement grid. And dropped-in movement grid will get incremented if we're able to drop a stone in our movement grid, and we're only able to pick up a stone if dropped-in movement grid is bigger than 0, which makes sense. So we need to increment our dropped-in movement origin. So dropped-in movement origin gets itself +1. Actually, we should just assign it to 1. No. Yeah, itself +1. And then dropped-in movement origin should be nil at the beginning, I guess. Dropped-in movement origin. Okay. Now, I guess let's see if we are able to just drop a stone on top. We should be able, we're nullifying the stone in our mouse stone. We increment our dropped-in movement origin, then we need to, our lowest mouse stone stack order actually goes up. It goes up because we have one less stone in our hand, therefore the lowest mouse stone stack order needs to be one index higher than the stone we just dropped. So we actually increment it upon a drop. So let's see if it's Black's turn. We click lowest mouse stone stack order 6. Now let's see if we can drop this black stone into our movement origin and keep the same rendering. We're not able to. We're not able to. Okay, I'm gonna copy over the beep sound, honestly. Where's the beep sound? Sounds in our table, our global table sounds at index string beep. We play function on it. So what I'm gonna do here is say movement event 2, movement is down. I'm pretty sure our mouse stone occupants are actually mouse stones occupants, so this should be right. I'm going to just hit play if down is pressed, and we're in a move type movement event 2. Great, we already can't switch this back. What is going on? What is going on? We're in a move type place. We can switch to a move type move and switch back. But we were just not doing that. Okay, move type move. White's move shouldn't have been able to pick that up. See, that's a legal move. False. Yeah, we're able to pick it up. So we just need to make sure we don't pick it up unless it's a legal move. Okay. Yeah, legal move. Oh, hold on. This is... Yeah, if it's a legal move, we lock it in. Okay, we actually need to do a lot more stuff in this legal move. True. So we need to do all of this inside our if it's a legal move. So, I think we can just copy this over. Okay, that should fix us picking up a stone stack outside of our control, which it looks like it does. But our pressing of down or up in our movement event 2 isn't playing any sounds, so we need to figure out why. Let's just take this out and just say, hey, only if down is pressed, let's play this beep sound. So if down is pressed in movement event 2. Still no. If movement event 1. See how we're ending this. We shouldn't be ending this. Now we should be able to do it. Yeah. What if we don't do an else if and we just say if? If movement event 1 and then not else if, but if movement event 2. Really, dude, what? 3. I don't see any ends we're missing, homie. Other than this one. Maybe. See, these are all jacked. This needs to be just if. Then each one of these ifs would need the end. You already had that one? Okay. Come on, man. Be nice to me. Just run. Okay. Okay, move type move. And if it's a legal move, and we click on it, we'll pick up the stack. Now pressing down crashes us at 486. Right here. What if we don't do this? Like I just want it to make the beep sound so I know it's working, you know? Okay, down is working now. I'm curious if we took this out and said else if and still had that end here, if it would crash. It doesn't. And it still makes the sounds. Okay, so I don't know what was going wrong. But else if movement 3, else if movement 4, okay. I don't know why the else ifs were crashing before, but else if. Okay. Okay. So, the first line we do is we increment our occupants field of our occupants at our movement origin row. So why does this crash? .486 attempt to nil value, index to nil value. So now how come occupants is nil at this moment? We need to, don't we update? Oh, okay. I know why. Well, because look, if we take a look, I don't think we're printing up our occupants. Let's print up, we just need to assign our correct occupants in our tester, which oh, we are. Okay, I know what we need to do. We need to update how many occupants we have once we take 5 stones out. That's part of the confusing thing. So we can either... Yeah, so our movement event 1 still isn't done yet, because we need to track how many occupants are in that new grid now. So we need to... If movement event 1 after we assign our lowest mouse stack order, the occupants, we need to decrement. Look, we do decrement it. We decrement how many occupants we have anytime we copy a stone. Wait a second. Yeah. Let me print up this value and see why that's crashing. This shouldn't be nil. Stone occupants. Now we can see if this is acting right. Milestone occupants is 5. Pressing down crashes. So it's I don't know why it's crashing. 488. Okay. Oh. Not move locked row. Movement origin column is what we need there. Yeah, that was super checked. Movement origin column. Okay. Let's go ahead and turn on the rest of this with the correct second index here. As far as I know, we got rid of this move locked row completely because that was our old logic that was ultimately causing the bug. So now we're only assigning the members depending on, we're only assigning one variable for each spot, for each row and each column of our locked in flowchart moves. Okay, let's see. $500 dropped in movement origin, a nil value. So, what line was that? 500? Okay, instead of it being a nil value, we say it's 0. And we say it's 0 here, too. Okay. Nice. Okay. Let's... Why would that crash, bruh? Why would I crash to job? If it's a move type 2, pressing down will it'll increase our grid's occupants, but it'll decrease our mouse stone occupants. So so here when we increment once we increment our movement origin occupants, we are going to decrement our mouse stones dot members at index lowest mouse stone stack order dot occupants. Actually, no, it's not belonging to our members, it's belonging to our occupant class. So it's actually mousestone dot occupants gets mousestones dot occupants -1. So now our mousestone occupants mouse stones dot occupants is greater than 1, then we're able to drop. So now I'm looking to be able to drop all but 1. Why on the third one, you know? Why there? Lowest milestone stack order 7, 8. $493. Occupant index. We need to assign this occupant index where do we use this occupant index actually? I mean, we're using it here and we assign it right here. See, yeah, this is just so jacked. This is backwards. Yeah, this is way backwards. So we're incrementing our occupants, then we need to be assigning our, not even our grid's occupant index. Oh no, we're doing it right here. Why are we doing this twice? We're increasing our occupants twice. Which we don't need to do. Now let's see if we can drop all of them. All but 1. Nice. And then we need to be able to pick up only ones that we have dropped off, which we do by tallying dropped off in movement stone origin. And here we say else if love keyboard pressed up, and our lowest, no, and our dropped in movement origin is greater than 1, meaning we have greater than 0, meaning we have dropped at least 1. Then we're able to, we would need to decrement our dropped in movement origin to set it to be the correct number, then we would allow us to pick up a stone, and I'm gonna use the restroom and be right back for more code. Okay. So we press up, we decrement our dropped in movement origin, and then we need to decrement how many occupants are in our movement origin grid. So we decrement it there. Then we can say we're going to increment the occupants in our mouse stone. And then we need to say we can update this occupant index with the amount of occupants that are now in our grid after we've decremented it. Actually, this is a little different. Okay, let's leave this for now because we need to determine where we need to place this first. So if we pick up a stone, we're copying it from the movement origin grid into our mouse stone. So we know that it's at a grid movement origin row, movement origin column, and we know that its members field needs to be its topmost stone, because its topmost stone needs to be copied into our mouse stone object, and our topmost stone would be the stone at our lowest. No. It would be at, yeah, it'd be one higher than the total occupants. But we've already decremented the occupants. So it would be, yeah, it would be here. We can, at time of pressing up the amount of occupants, that it has is actually the index we want to place. Wait a second. Is the index we want to remove. Yeah. So what we can say is our occupant index is actually just our amount of occupants before we decrement it. Okay. So that gets saved as our occupant index, gets overwrites our occupant index into however many occupants we currently have in our movement origin. Then we decrement it, and then we need to copy from the occupant index from where the stone was into where the top stone was into where it currently is now, which is inside of our mouse stones, which is mouse stones. And it's not at our occupants, but it's at our occupants members, and the members, no, this is an occupant, so it's a dot members at an index of lowest milestone stack order. We want to copy it into one beneath our current lowest milestone stack order. So we just say lowest milestone stack order minus one beneath. And it's starting with its color. So stone color. So we need to move 3 things into the mouse stone object, and those 3 things are a stone color, a stone type, and a stack order. So stone type and a stack order. So once we copy over those values into our mouse stones, we need to nullify each of those old values at the proper index, which that looks to be right. So we nullify that one, we nullify this one, and we nullify this one, and it's stone type and stack order. Okay. So once we've picked up a stone, I'm not going to lock in our stack control or our stone control until we hit enter, but let's see if that lets us pick up stones now. So we can drop them and we can pick them up, and we are not doing the stack order. Yes, we are. First of all, we're missing the sound, but something's getting lost in translation here. Oh, we're not updating our lowest milestone stack order. So we need to, anytime we pick one up, our lowest milestone stack order actually decrements. So we can do that, and then now we can see if we actually render those things appropriately, because it's based on stack order. Come on. Okay. So we should be playing beeps now, and we should be able to see all the stones we picked up in the same order. Perfect. Perfect. Cool. Okay, movement 2 is almost done. See how much faster it is to develop now that we've streamlined our code in this way? Now we need to be smart and think about what other things might need to happen to be updated to avoid bugs. But it's really hard to foresee those things. No one like tries to make bugs, you know? I'm gonna put our dropped-in movement origin here, down lower. Excuse me. Okay. I wish Lua had the ++. Because all this is an increment, and look at how many space we have to... how many characters we have to type just to increment it. Wow, that iced coffee is super good. Okay, so it looks like we're able to drop and pick up stones. Only able to drop one less than we have. Or, yeah, one less than we have, and then only able to pick up what we've dropped. So now we need the enter logic. So if enter is pressed, or return is pressed, it depends on what system you're on, but I'm going to do both. Because I think my PC calls it enter, but the Mac calls it return. Now, let's take a look at our notes. So look, we have drop, pick up. We have to have dropped 1 in order to run this logic. Okay. Okay. So we have to have dropped 1. So if it's pressed, then we're going to say if dropped in movement origin is greater than 1, then we can go ahead and do the logic to lock in how many stones are in our movement origin space. So what we do for that is it's already got the members in there, but we need to say, we need to update. Wait, no, what do we need to do? Here in our old code, we had stones in hand locked at that point. So, but what stones in hand locked was triggering was the next movement event, and in this time we're just assigning the movement event. So, the last thing we're going to do is increment our movement event to 3. Or assign our movement event to 3. So if we have dropped 1 or more in our movement origin, and we hit enter, we go to movement 3. But the very first thing we should check is say if mouse stones occupants is equal to 0, that means we've dropped all of our mouse stones. And if that's the case, if we've dropped all of our mouse stones and we press enter, then we should set our movement event to 3 and swap our player. But we would need to do also the updating. We need to update our stack control, stone control, falsify all of our legal moves, or we don't need to do that because they're already false. And then our lowest milestone stack order should stay the same, but we would need to do this. Since we changed the amount of stones in a grid, we need to update our movement origin grid to be correct. Oopsie, movement origin column. Okay. So we're going to update our movement origin, stack control, stone control. Then we're going to swap players. And then it's a movement 3. And then if we've dropped we also update these if we've dropped not all of our stones. We still need to update that. We just don't swap the player. So these are very similar. Oh, yeah, but they're not quite the same. I don't know how to condense. See how we repeat ourselves here. But we only want to do these things. Well, we don't repeat ourselves here with this one, but we only want to do these things in a certain scenario if interest pressed and either this or this is true. But then we have to also say, by the way, if this one was true, we have to do this as well. I think that's okay. So let's do this where we say if Mousestone's occupants is 0 or our dropped in movement origin is 1, then we know we need to update stack control. And ultimately set our movement player to 3. But if our mouse stones dot occupants is equal to 0, then we need to also just swap our player before we increase. Actually, we would actually break here. No, this would actually be we could say if our mouse stone occupants is 0, then we want to swap player, and we don't need to increase our movement event. We would actually, what is our movement event when we initialize? Our player swap will take care of that. Movement event is 1. And I'm wondering if we've got movement event is 1 here as well, which we do. So we shouldn't need to set that, because once we swap our players, it'll do that. So we should just be able to say, where are you? Oh my God. Okay. If we have 0 occupants, you swap our player. Otherwise, this would mean if we have more than 1 in our dropped movement origin, then we just need to update our movement event. Movement event will now move to 3. Then we don't repeat ourselves. So let's see if we can do that. So we should be able to pick up 5, drop 4, pick up those 4, Now, if... Oh, see, look, we don't even need this just yet. We don't need this occupant 0, because we can't have occupant 0 here because of our dropped-in movement origin. So we need to do that on every other one other than this movement origin. On our first movement, we would definitely need to do this, but not on this movement origin. So we're just saying if enter's pressed, if we have dropped at least one stone, dropped-in movement origin is greater than 1. It stops greater than or equal to 1. At least one stone. Then we would update our stone control, stack control. We don't need this anymore. And we increase our movement event. So let's see if we can do that. Oh no. Oh no. We lose our mouse stone once we let's go to movement event 3. So if we drop 1, hit enter, our mouse stones just go away for some reason. What if we don't go to movement 3, we just hit enter? They don't disappear. So why would going to movement event 3 disappear our mouse stone renders? That's so confusing. We're still a move type move, right? Mouse stone occupants. Huh. What's so weird? Let me look. So look at our mouse stone occupants. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yet when we lock that in, we've got 2 stones. That's still right. But what is this MS occupants mouse? And we've got 2 mouse stone occupants printing in the debug here. But one is, this is actually grid occupants, movement origin grid. So movement origin grid occupants, movement origin grid occupants. And this is mouse stone occupants. So let's make sure those are right. Okay, this is kind of movement. Okay, this is just, yeah. How many occupants are there? There's 6. Okay, this is looking right. So what happens when we hit enter? The only thing that changed was a movement event, at least of these values. Why would we stop rendering our mouse stone in that case? We still have mouse stone occupants at least. Well, Look at this. We're not rendering our mouse stone members in movement event 3. I'm just going to say if movement event is greater than 1, render our mouse stone members. So that should let us still hold our mouse stones after we advance to movement event 3, which we do. So now everything is falsified as a legal move. Now we need to do our 2D arithmetic to find our orthogonal spaces. And this is in movement event 3, so we might be done with movement event 2. Yeah, we might be done with movement event 2. Yeah. It's hard because we, like, I guess we want to make sure look at our stack control and stone control is right on that one. And on this one. Okay. Okay, cool. I think we may be done with movement event 2. Now stack control's black, so that seems to be working okay. Yeah. I think what I'm wanting to do is end today's stream here. I'm just tired of standing on my feet, but I want to program more, so I think I'm gonna program some more of this off screen. You know, we already did this on stream in the incorrect way, but I'm thinking I'm just gonna sit down with my laptop and continue this work so I can give my feet a break. And then I'll update you guys tomorrow with the changes and how much progress I made. And then we'll hopefully get closer to finishing this off, because I think we finished up until we had our third movement locked. So we were almost to getting our movement event 6 working before we refactored and refactored all of this stuff. So right now we have just finished our movement event 2. So I've still got 3 more movement events to code to catch up to where we were. But I'm thinking not only is this faster to develop in this way versus my old way, but it's faster and it's simpler. So I'll end the stream here. We'll do a quick git diff here to see what we did. That's just in our notes section, so that's not too necessary. So what we did do is give us an occupant index, which is just a little bit of optimization for readability. we just did some different indenting there. So look, this is all of the code from our session today, our movement event 2. So we have dropping stones in a movement origin, we have picking up stones in movement origin, and we have locking in that that movement event. So that's looking to be like all the movement event 2 logic. So we're on to movement event 3, then 4, then 5, and once we get to 6, it'll be where it'll be as far as we've successfully gone. Just we kept having those bugs and crashes, so I'm hoping by the time we get there this time, once we have our third movement locked and everything, that we're gonna be actually working instead of crashing all the time. Oops. What the heck? There we go. So yeah, and then we updated our mouse stone render, so we render every mouse stone if we're bigger than movement event greater than 2. So different debugging, so that's not bad. I'm gonna git add everything with a commit message saying added movement event to functionality, and git push that bad boy. Okay, so I'm gonna continue to work today just off stream on my laptop because my feet are tired, and then I'll update you guys. I'll make a an update of the difference. We'll run through a git diff of the difference, and then we'll re-download our whole project commit. I say that because when I work on different machines, it doesn't always copy over the code. It doesn't, the git merge doesn't always work correctly. So maybe I'll look up a little bit more about that, because if I do a git pull, like let's say I push a commit on my laptop and then I do a git pull here, it should change my files on this machine to be matching. But it kind of messes up some lines in my experience. So I've had better luck if I switch on a different machine, just delete the whole repo and re-clone it from the updated commit, which I shouldn't have to do. I should be able to figure that out. But yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on what I do off stream, trying to catch up to where we have been, just a little smoother. So yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.